transport in living organisms. We'll be looking at transport in living organisms by looking at what is transported, where it is transported through, and how it is transported. And so my introduction is a little vague, so as we go through the topic, it will become clearer. But from the screen, we can see that one organ used for transport in living organisms is the heart. So let's jump right into figuring out what does transport in living organisms mean. In order to transport substances throughout the body, we would require a circulatory system. Right? A circulatory system meaning that substances would be able to follow one path and then pass through a main hub. Right? So think of it as a normal transport system. Let's think of it as our maxi taxi system, where Port of Spain could be a central hub, and the organ I would describe as a central hub would be the heart. So this means whatever is transported must pass through the heart before going through the rest of the body, and then it returns to the heart. So in that way, it travels along a path which we call a circulatory system. Now you're going to think of the bus route and the main routes as the blood vessels, and we consider these to be the pathways through which blood will pass, right? And the blood vessels include arteries, veins, and capillaries. And of course, the substance being transported is blood. Right? So we'll take down that the circulatory system, which is how transport in living organisms occurs, consists of the heart, blood vessels, and blood. Now I talked about the heart, the blood vessels, but I didn't talk about what is actually being transported in blood. Why is blood important? And we say that the main function of the circulatory system is to transport this blood, where blood consists of nutrients, waste materials, and oxygen. These are just a few of the substances transported in blood around the body. On my page, you're going to see a model of the heart, which is a side view. And what is protruding from the heart would be vessels. We will identify those vessels later on. And on the diagram on the left, we see that the heart is pumping. Right, so the heart pumps, and as it does so, this circulates blood around the body. What you may not be able to notice in this diagram is that there are actually two pumps in the heart. Why do we need two pumps in the heart? We refer to the circulatory system as a double circulatory system. So let's figure out what that means. And I'm looking at my diagram on the screen. So we're looking at the guy on the left, and there's a blue arrow exiting this guy, heading towards blue boxes. And this means, or it shows, that blood is flowing through these blue boxes, which is actually a portion of the heart. And as this blood flows through the heart, it is going to leave the heart and go to the lungs. Blood will then leave that area where the lungs are, return to the heart, and this is seen as the two red boxes on the screen. So blood will return to the heart before it exits and circulates around the rest of the body. And this is what the double circulatory system is. It means the same blood passes through the heart twice before it circulates around the body. From our diagram, we can see that blood will pass through the blue boxes on the left and also the red boxes on the right. And this means blood passes through the heart twice. Now, before we go on, I also want to establish what is left and right on our diagram. Right, you're going to think of your heart or the left and right of your heart as if you are lying down on the page face up. So this means this would be the right side of the heart. Right, so the blue boxes would be the right side of the heart and the red boxes would be the left side of the heart. So once again, let me talk about this double circulatory system. This means blood will pass through the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart before that blood circulates around the body. And this is what it means when I say the same blood passes through the heart twice before it circulates around the body. Excuse. Why would we say the heart has two pumps? Now, two pumps are needed in order to pump that blood through the heart twice. So, when the blood enters the heart on the right, we need to squeeze to get the blood out of the heart to the lungs. So that's one pump working. Once again, when blood enters the right side of the heart, in order to get that blood to the lungs, the pump needs to squeeze once. The blood from the lungs will return to the left side of the heart. Another pump needs to squeeze once more in order to get the blood out of the left side of the heart to circulate around the rest of the body. Right, so we say that the heart has two pumps. We will look at this in more detail later on. We'll wrap up this video by just looking at some short notes on what does the heart do. And very simply, it is the heart's responsibility to pump blood throughout the body, and it does so through blood vessels. Think of vessels as main roads, bus routes, side roads, etc. So this process of pumping blood throughout the body is called circulation, and therefore all organisms that have a heart must therefore circulate blood, and we say that these organisms have a circulatory system. You have to also take note that we are looking at the heart in the human body, and this system that we use is called a double circulatory system. Alright, so I'll add that in. Here we go. Right, and I'm going to end off the video by just stating, if you take a look at the video on the right, this is an actual human heart, which is pumping blood through some attached tubes, and it's quite a feat of today's science to be able to keep a human heart beating outside of the body, right? So it's quite amazing. If you look at the heart, you can see its structure. It does look very similar to how We tend to draw a very simple heart, right? And I love you heart. So we've looked at the double circulatory system. In my next video, we're going to look at the structure of the heart.